grasp and really retain, you got to get in the practice of taking notes. I think in reference to spirituality and consciousness, we imagine that we could just kind of just listen to it and it sink in, and we hope to retain something from it. But when you talk about your spiritual life, once you get older, you start to realize that your spiritual life is the most important thing that you're going to have to learn and develop into. So with that being said, take a lot of notes and don't put a time limit on this process, whether reading a book. Maybe we go through all of these weeks of lectures and then you read your book. Make sure you read the book with the notes and take your notes. Look over your notes, because you're really taking your soul and your spiritual life seriously. If you do it when you're younger, when you get older, it'll be one less thing to worry about. And that's the most important thing with people that's getting older in age, especially when we talk about the heart chakra, where it deals a lot with health. And I know when we're in our 20s, that's probably not the most important thing that we're thinking about. But when you really think about it in retrospect, it really is super important to think about it now. The table of contents that we'll be talking about, that we'll be talking today is the first is about 20 something pages, right? But these table of contents will be broken up into sections. The first section would be unstruck, which we're talking about yourself, your true self, as opposed to the person that we think we are through our experiences. And the person that we are is rather perfect. So I'm going to bring examples in reference to our heart and our heart chakra and the ways that we go through life being perfect. Raising Kundalini to the heart. What we've been talking about over these past 3 weeks is very important when we discuss these next 4 weeks. So I'll give another backdrop. Each class I'll always give a review, because it's super important to have that foundational understanding. And the first time I talk about it, it's not to say that it's going to resonate deeply, but if I keep talking about it, it'll start to connect. The Anahata chakra, we'll be talking about the spiritual aspect, of the chakra, and then we'll relate that to the thymus gland. Your thymus gland is extremely important, especially in these days and times with all of this such and such going on. The activation of the heart chakra, that would be the meditation, which hopefully you guys could, the message that I'm going to try to bring across this week, I hope that you retain the messaging and the meditation so you could begin to do these meditations just haphazardly when you're driving or when you're at work. And then, of course, we'll finish it with some questions and answers. But since it is a lot of information, I'm going to try to concise it to like 45 minutes, all of this information. I want you guys to really read your books, you know what I'm saying? But don't start at the heart chakra. Really start at the introduction, really, and then move into each chakra. Take your notes. Relate it to yourself, because that's what this book is about. If there are parts in this book that you don't understand, that you need clarification on, ask me, because that's what I wrote the book for the person that's reading it. So if you can begin to understand that, how I view it is, I'm not trying to take away your desires. You got things that you want to accomplish. I'm trying to teach you how to get these things by activating your spiritual energy. Okay, so if you can think about what you truly want, what you truly desire, and then you might think it might be difficult for me to get it, I'm trying to show you an easy way by activating your chakras. This is what nobody is going to teach you. Okay, so to deal with the first section. If I'm going too fast, I apologize, but this is another reason why I have the book, so everything that I'm saying is in the book. And it's not really about what I'm saying, it's about you actually accepting the fact that you have these quote unquote superpowers. or special abilities. And it's not a far stretch of imagination, especially in reference to your heart. Because I got a question real quick. How much thought do you put into your heartbeat?
A lot, actually, a lot.
A lot?
A lot.
Explain. Explain.
I've been, like ever since I was little, I like tuned into my heartbeat. Like I just chilled and I like listened to a beat, and I worked on lowering my resting heartbeat.
Oh wow,
So, yeah.
that's deep.
To add on to what he said, especially that last part, that was powerful. I still do this now. Like I'll just be, if I'm doing something or if I'm just sitting at home, I'll literally tune into my heart and the breath. And that help me through the breath. So like I'll be practicing on holding my breath, for an extended long period of time, or like pacing my breath. I noticed I did this last week. I noticed that when I did that little practice on the breath, like you said, that it lowered my heart, because my heart was beating real fast. I was mad about something, so when I did a little breath thing, it literally slowed it down instantly. I'm like, okay, I'm working on something.
All right, but that's why I ask questions, just to get a level of the conversation for which we could have in reference to how powerful we actually are. Your heart is essential to life. You can feel great, you can feel bad, your heart's going to beat. So being able to tune into our natural perfection, our heart and our breath, and really have a sense of purity of mind, a sense of purity of who we are at the solar plexus, emotionally being pure, naturally we live our lives as this pure energy. Now, y'all already tuned in and tapped into this aspect, and it's very natural to do it when you're a younger person, but I guess for some of us, we tend to block ourselves from this heart chakra. And I'll explain when I start talking about the thymus gland. But for most adults, that part atrophies. Like it completely shuts down. This is why when you're young, you don't get sick as much. When people get older, they tend to get more sicker. But that's because your perfection or your defense system is down, because what was activated so high, your heart, your thymus gland, is now shut down. But you know what shuts it down? Stress, fear, worry, anxiety. So you like opening the door to bacteria, viruses, diseases. Because when you little or younger, you ain't worried about none of this stuff, is you? You just going out playing basketball, but you healthy, you happy, and you at peace with yourself. Now, as adults, young adults, you have a choice to be responsible and tap into your inner child and restore that. Or you could go nosedive into adulthood and figure things out from that aspect. And that's the ego. Most of us, and I'm so happy that y'all answered that question, because I got to tailor my conversation to my audience. But most people outside of this room never feel that consciousness to their heart. Remember how last week I was talking about your solar plexus being a mind of itself? Your gut being a mind of itself? Well, your heart is actually a mind of itself too. But to tune into that, it does more than waste your time. It actually is the energy that you send out. You could take your consciousness, which your conscious brain, your monkey brain, is only going to worry about stuff. Is the door locked? Is I got enough gas in the car? Right? That's all you're going to think about up here. You can take that same mind, bring it to your heart, and get things done on the levels. They say your heart is 1,000 times more powerful than your brain. So if we constantly trying to think about our lives and set up and order our lives based upon our mind, we from a security and trying to prevent tragedy type of aspect, and it's all ego. And most of the times we think of our lives as, how secure am I in this particular place and time, but never once do we say, this is who I am. Because the hardest thing, which y'all done at young ages, is to come to that point where you're not worried all the time. Because think about all the life's problems in the world. You think your brain is on the earth to solve every single problem? No. You might have some responsibilities. You might have to take care of some things. But overall, you could take your consciousness, your mind, and bring it down to your heart. And this is activating your heart chakra more, as being aware of your heart chakra, because your mind, what you normally use to drive and brush your teeth and take a shower, just everything that you use your mind for, you can't even begin to compute what it would take to vibrate from a heart consciousness. Because you could be breaking up with your boyfriend and your heart's still beating. You think you want your world to stop, you know? You think it's over, right? But your heart say, whatever, we gonna keep this thing going, right? I just want it to be over. No, your heart gonna keep beating, because your emotions don't determine the overall outcome of your life. But the more that you can begin to center out all of the nonsense, all of the fear, all of the anxiety, the more that you can center yourself into your heart chakra. Next page, impersonal. Your heart is an impersonal experience, meaning that everything we experience in our day-to-day, for good or bad, is relative to personal experience.
Is this in the book?
Yes.
Can you tell Amber? Amber, you got your book with you?
Yes, I have my book.
Can you tell her what page it's on so she can follow us?
If she can go to the heart chakra. I don't have my book.
That's page 73, Amber.
And keep going, probably like to 70.
I'm sorry. I just wanted her to kind of be on the same page.
I feel you.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
You want to go through it?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You good. So really, she can stay on 75, like 75, 76, and 77, because the lecture is going to not be completely tailored. But if she could, once I start talking about, because I'm still doing a little background, but stay on page 75. And once I say, Amber, turn the page, you can turn the page, okay?
I'm sorry, okay.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to keep everybody in order. But I'll keep this just in case I really want to ruin it.
I got the page, so.
Huh?
I said I got the page.
All right, cool. All right, thank you. So when we reference personal experiences, everything that we go through in our lives, and this is the most important thing that we experience for a majority of our lives. However, the most important things that happen for our survival, for our existence, is rather impersonal. Has nothing to do with whether we go to college or make a lot of money or do all of these things. A lot of the things that happen inside of our bodies is only going to determine whether we are stressed or happy or, really enjoying our experience in life. And this will determine how we will stay free from diseases, how we will be happy, or how we will be able to live a spiritual life, because we are choosing joy and we're choosing happiness. But if we look at our personal life, for good or bad, we could be happy that we're in a mansion or sad that we're in a homeless shelter. And we're always comparing our lives and never really coming within ourselves. We need to learn to separate our lives in reference to our spirituality or our soul, because our soul is different from our experience. Does that make sense? Okay. And just to go over a quick review of the 3 lower chakras, what we have been talking about these previous 3 weeks, which is very important to activate in our heart chakra. If you are not grounded at the root chakra, that means you are not connected to source, means you're connected to something. So this is where we get our codependent tendencies, where we're connected to our relationship, connected to our school, connected to our job, connected to our bank account, but not connected to who we are. So please, you can still find places to go in nature, to walk around. You could go to your backyard if you can, somewhere where you feel disconnected from what's going on in the city and connected to nature. It's so important for melanated people to do that, because if you look at our surroundings, they try to remove the nature out of the hood, push it to the suburbs, and now all we got is the inner city streets and stuff like that, you know. So take the initiative to go out into nature, because society don't want that for you. And once you go out into nature, what you'll see is everybody at the park but us. But don't let that stop you. The sacral chakra are emotions. How do you make decisions is based upon how you feel. If you strive to feel good, you'll make better decisions. If you allow your negative emotions to take over your mind, you'll do destructive habits. But you're grown now, so nobody is telling you don't do that. You're going to make your own decisions, and the best thing to do is to feel good, right? Because you can be in a negative space, make decisions that completely change your life around, that all you had to do was really deal with your feelings and your emotions. It's so subtle, but it's completely life-changing if you can really think, before anything happens, I'm going to feel a certain type of way. You're not going to say, I'm going to wait for something to happen to make me feel good, right? And so grounding, feeling good for no reason at all, allows you to be this persona, or be this ego, or be this person where you're a great person, and it's not because you just got paid today. You just wake up every day. But this is why we're talking about activating your chakras, but really important to balance your lower chakras, okay? All right. So, Amber, on page 75, oh, hold on. I can look for myself, and then I can help you out. Right. So on page 75, it says raising Kundalini to the heart chakra.
Yes.
That's where we're at. And after this, I'll tell you to turn the page. But right now, that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
We'll be here.
Oh, we're right here. So we're going to come back to this page for our meditation. So I just want to kind of touch on this, but then also keep this in mind when we do our meditation. What is a chakra, right? We're talking about it, but do we fully understand it? You're not going to grasp a chakra. You're not going to actually see a chakra. You got to have some form of imagination. The term for a chakra is a psychocosmogram. This is a symbol that represents the soul. Your soul represents the cosmos, and the gram represents the symbol. So gram, symbol, cosmo, the universe, psycho, your soul, all one thing. The chakra is the symbol for your connection to the cosmos. And to activate, go ahead.
Can you repeat that?
Psycho, cosmogram.
GRAM.
Yes. Psyche represents the soul. Cosmo represents the cosmos, or the universe for which we are living in. A gram is a symbol because we can't conceptualize the whole cosmos in anything but a symbol because it's too much to walk around and carry with us. However, I really, like, from the bottom of my heart, I want you guys to understand that you are the universe. You may have lived a messed up life, or things you didn't get all aces when you was playing cards. However, you could really meditate and open yourselves up to who you truly are outside of what life is showing you. This is why we activate our chakras. So the idea is to imagine your chakras. In the book, each chakra talks about an endocrine system gland. It may be your own responsibility to do more research on that particular gland to get an understanding that, oh, I have this in my body. Even though it's in this book, I have it within myself. And you could then do more research on what herbs support adrenaline. What herbs support the reduction of cortisol? I've been stressed out. Because how you feel is the most important thing. And if you don't address how you feel, you'll make decisions based upon you feeling bad. So it's like climbing out of a hole and imagining that you've won. No, you just got out the hole. Now what? Once you start to feel good, you start making decisions outside of the hole, and now you have the whole universe to play in. So I really want you to feel good. And the reason that I want you to feel good is because your body produces specific hormones to say, I feel great today. That's vitamin D and things of that nature, where if you're not taking your vitamin D and you're at work or at school, where's it going to come from? And now you say, well, I'm not feeling too well. It's not that you're not feeling too well. It could be you lacking vitamin D. It's not a bad thing. And it's so much that I'm saying that you should do research on, but not for research sake, for yourself. Because all of the things that I'm referencing, as far as these glands and all of that, is within your body, okay? And I hope that there's nothing more important to anybody in this room than your body. Because that's going to be your vessel the whole entire time that you're down in this 3D plane. A lot of when I came in the spiritual life, they were saying, oh, we're spiritual. We could smoke cigarettes. We could eat pork. We could do whatever because we're just children of God. And when you're new to spirituality, that's all you want to hear. Like, I could just do whatever I want to. Yeah. And it's like, no, it don't work like that. So take your body seriously. Because the same people that was saying that, some of them not even here to be talking that nonsense no more. So really value your body and your vessel like it's the most important thing. Next page. So after this meditation, I want you to really focus on this from now, and you can turn the page, Amber. From now until forever, really try to find that place within yourself, or find that, if you can focus in on your heartbeat, that moment that is not beating, that silence within yourself, the nothingness even. That's what it's really about. But can you get through all of the noise that your mind is processing, that is allowing you to feel a certain type of way, that blocks you from your own divinity? So is nothing more important than something. From this aspect, nothing becomes the most important aspect of your spiritual life. Not to say that you're not doing anything, but in your meditation or what you're trying to reach is this point of nothingness or silence. Bless you. So, You had a oracle deck out, and one of the first card that you had up was the Merkabah. And I said that's interesting when I seen it because. So what is the Merkabah? In reference to your heart. Your heart puts out electromagnetic energy every time it beats. You send out.
They do. You just got to twist the nozzle. Okay, y'all, come on.
All right.
In our family.
So on that page, you see the Taurus. It's fine. The Sri Yantra, the Merkabah, and the aura. I'm showing y'all these three things to show like these things exist in the world and that you guys have them. We all have them. Your energy gets sent out from your vessel. Now, it's a matter of belief. You can send out as much energy as you want and you get that same energy in return. You're going to do it regardless. There's no neutral to it. It's positive or negative. So really figuring out how you feel and what energy you're going to send out based upon what you want to return. Because we are receivers and we are emitters of energy. This is why our frequency is reduced in our communities. This is why if you go to some hoods, they don't know what happened outside of a 4-block radius their whole lives. They know their grandma over there, their auntie, their uncles, and that's their whole entire world. Meanwhile, if they were to step outside of that bubble and begin to reflect on who they are at a pure state, they would send out different energy. How many people y'all know who have left the city and end up doing great things where they went? Y'all ever seen that before?
What?
I said plenty of them.
People who leave the city and end up doing great things because they're no longer in their realms of routine, and now they have to really figure out who they are outside of their environment. And that's a true test of who you are because people don't really know you. Nobody truly knows you until you begin to truly know yourself. And that's the purpose of the spiritual life, to truly know yourself. But the next part is that you get to send out energy. That's the cool part about it. Whatever you decide that you want to do with your life, you start now and you start sending it out because it works twofold. You have a heartbeat and you have a thymus gland. Your thymus gland protects you from diseases, meaning that if I'm going to want to build a house, I need to be alive to build it. So human beings set intentions. You ever wanted to say, all right, I want to save up money to go to a vacation. How you know you going to be alive? Because you that powerful that you can even foresee. Some of us got 10-year plans. Don't even know if we walk outside if a piano going to come flying down. But we just know that we are that protected. We know that we're that guided. And if y'all could look at the page and see this, all of these things are showing you in different times what human beings look like at an energetic level. The body, I'm going to get scientific, but I just need y'all to understand it from a real level. The body is protons and neutrons. But that's not everything of the body. The rest of the body is electrons. Electrons get sent out and then they rotate around us like planets. And these are all of our thoughts and all of our emotions. Some people really think highly of themselves. And people start treating them that way too. You ever notice that? Some people really think bad of themselves. People start treating them that way too. You ever notice that? Because we all have auras. We all have Merkabahs. And we all have a protective shield around us that say, I allow greatness or I allow mid-level energy. I want just okay out of life or whatever. So think about that. Turning the page. The animal of the heart chakra is the gazelle. The gazelle runs, it's an earth animal, right? Like our heart. It's an earth animal, but when it runs, it's almost like it flies, right? And that's the symbol of the heart, where it's connected to the earth, but it's also connected to the air. Even deeper. So what I'm going to do is read this script and then talk about the element and the color associated with the chakra, and then get into the meditation. This is a very important Bible verse, especially for young adults that want to figure out how to be successful later in life. If you're trying to figure out all of the things that you need to do in your mind and all of the hard work that you need to do, as opposed to dealing with the God within you, you might have a hard road, my fuck. But if you really want to tap into the God within, you will have an easy perpetual road. And that's cool. Because you don't have to have a hard life. You don't have to struggle. Don't have to be you against the world or nothing like that. You can have wife, children, husband, kids, travel, all of the cool stuff in the world if you want to act like God is within you. And don't give up on that thought and send out positive energy and treat people the way you want to be treated in a positive area. Because nobody wants to be treated bad. Nobody wants to experience pain. And it's not your job to deliver pain to them. Right? That's not our responsibility. But this is not like church. It's more of the symbology associated in what they're trying to say. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And His grace toward me was not in vain. On the contrary, I worked harder than any of them, though it was not I, but the grace of God that was with me. So what you work hard to do is not to be the most successful human being, but to find that God within yourself. And it's not an easy thing to find. I mean, depending on who you are, like I said, every audience is different. But just please understand that these books and the time and effort that's been being spent is not in vain. It's really so you can find the God within yourself. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. So it's not an easy thing to even come across, because everybody wants you to find God outside of yourself. Right? So if I had more time, I would go through each of these petals in reference to the Anahata chakra. But these, in a nutshell, these represent your unconscious behaviors, imperfections, your ego, your lust, your deceitfulness, your defiance, your hope, your worry, your effort, so forth and so on, all relate to you not being present in your heartbeat.
I'm sorry, you said these relate to what?
Your unconscious behaviors that unknowingly block your heart chakra, or just being present, because we always thinking about hoping or worrying, or I didn't work hard enough last year, that's why I didn't get what I want. I just don't have enough things. All of these things take you out of the present moment, where if you had all of the things that you wanted, your heart would probably be beating the same way. Your heart doesn't know the difference. So how do you treat your heart? How do you love your heart? As you don't love your heart by focusing on what you have or don't have. And if you could look at, these are also in the book. Page 78. If Amber is still there. But yes, you could go over these 12 petals a little bit more clearer, understanding how these show up for you personally. But generally, if you could just be patient and present, everything tends to work out for you, as opposed to hoping and wishing. The meditation, the color that I want you guys to see when you're meditating is the color green. Why? Because green represents unconditional love. Green represents giving, letting go. Green represents grass, abundance, nature, all of the things that we are connected to, or the things that are taken away from us. Green also represents good vibrations.
That's the color we just painted our kitchen wall.
Really? Aaron's shirt is green.
I was gonna wear a red shirt and then something was like, "What your green turtleneck?" So I was wearing a green turtleneck.
Another element that we're going to tune into for our meditation is air. Air is also abundant. You can't grasp air. You'll never go to the store and buy air. Or let me refrain that. They do have an air bar in Las Vegas. What do you
I
think?
saw it too. The oxygen bar.
Yeah, crazy. But
yeah, you can get high off the air.
you get high off the air. Well, not really high. You could just eat it or drink it or something like that, or breathe it.
You put it up your nose.
I didn't know.
Breathe it
like
But
a
I-
year
I
ago.
saw
like a
it.
What is
can.
it supposed to do?
It's different, like, it's different things, like, you could do calming, you could do,
Calming.
like,
Yeah, I ain't
different.
gonna lie,
And it
last
tastes.
year
They
somewhere-
have like different tastes to it.
I ain't gonna lie, last year I seen some crazy stuff in China. They talking about they're gonna be
What did it help you
charging
do?
people for air.
A
Bag. I'm talking about a brown paper bag. They told they're gonna put some air in a brown paper bag, seal it up and charge people for air. Like what?
Oh yeah.
Make people sick.
But air also represents our breath, right? So when we're breathing and we're meditating and we're visualizing, we're also giving thanks for life. And as long as we're breathing and conscious, we can always give thanks and have that gratitude. Next page. So the next one. So if y'all look at the diagram, what y'all see is on the left side, you have your chakras. On the right side, you have your endocrine glands. Your endocrine glands produce hormones that basically take over every aspect of your waking and sleeping life. If you feel great, you tend to produce those hormones in reference to feeling great, doing great, exercising, eating good, these types of things. If you say, you know what, I don't need to do none of that, I can sit, watch Netflix, eat pizza all day, have sex whenever I want to, I don't care about nothing like life, I just do whatever I want, then your hormones are every which way, and generally this is what we call going crazy. Because our hormones are very important to our mental state of mind. Our hormones are powerful as well. They can override our thoughts and have us in situations. An example of our hormones is sometimes a girl might even know a guy's no good, but she's compelled to deal with the no good guy because hormones. So you can't sleep on your hormones. You have to engage in your hormones. So please read the book and get more information on how to normalize and balance your hormones. In the book, we get into a lot of more details on the actual hormones that are being secreted when we're either stressed out or we're in a state of bliss. But you need to figure out your own bliss because you can't fake that. Internally, you can't fake that because the hormones that your body produces is going to say, she don't really mean it or he don't really mean it. He just saying that on Instagram. So, next page.
Do it for the gram.
Doing it for the gram. The thymus gland. The thymus gland sits at the very top of our heart chakra. It is a small gland that continuously grows throughout our childhood, but continues to atrophy after puberty until it is completely replaced by adipose tissue. The thymus gland is most active in children. This is why, for most of us, we try to awaken our inner child, but what we really are trying to do is activate our thymus gland. Our thymus gland produces white blood T cells, which is the cells that power our immune system. These T cells help destroy invading bacteria, viruses, and abnormal cell growth, and also foreign tissue. So with all of this being said, your thymus gland, when it's activated, is your natural defense mechanism of diseases throughout your body. We are all perpetually healthy because we have a system within our body that's saying, no, you can't come in here. So the heart chakra, and activating the heart chakra, more than actually doing anything, is you being aware of this power within yourself, and then possibly doing things to assist it over defeating it, right? So hopefully sometimes when reading this book, you might feel like, well, what do I have to do? Especially at this point, you have to start to really be aware of yourself, because your body is already amazing and there's really nothing you could do. You can either help your body or hinder your body. So that's really the point. How do we do it? Stress. Now, stress is a normal part of life. If we're driving, stress is cool. However, when stress gets to the point of emotional disturbance, this is where it really starts to affect us and really breaks us down. And then we could look for relationships, situations to relieve our stress and not take full responsibility for our stress. But it is our stress, and we can't expect others to be our caretakers. And if you allow stress to take over your life to the point of emotional disturbance for any reason, then that will allow disease to take place in your life. So if you need to have conversations, if you need to get counseling, whatever is going on in your mind that's bringing you stress to the point of emotional disturbance, work to clear that up, because the disease is a result of a long time of you breaking down your defenses to the world. So hopefully y'all able to talk about y'all stress with somebody, and not hold it all in, because if you start now, you'll get used to doing it and you'll just calcify that part of you that needs help, needs support, but you feel like you can do everything by yourself. Superman, Supergirl. But the reality of all of life, I know for melanated people, we are taught that we are taught that we need to do it all by ourselves and that we don't need help. But that's not true, because nobody else in the world is doing that. Y'all might have good zinc levels, but talk to a medical professional. I know y'all got a nurse on y'all team. If you feel like your zinc level is low, take a zinc supplement, but y'all might not need to take it because we melanated. So just do your research, and also talk to somebody if you feel like you be getting sicker than normal. Sickness isn't always sickness. Sometimes your body is doing natural maintenance and things like that. And if you begin to work with your body, what I used to call sick, I don't call sick no more, because I'm not like sneezing or in the bed. I'm just like, oh, my body is cleansing and purging. So I'm not in the bed or nothing like that. I'm just helping my body fight the bacteria and the toxins that's in the world. So to finish up, the heart chakra is your immune system. It is your heart. But this actual system secretes hormones that are your living defense network, gives you protection. And this is very important because you have hopes and dreams, and you definitely want to be alive to fulfill those things. So the more that you can begin to understand your immune system before you get old. Now, when I'm at the health food store, it's a bunch of old people or older people in there, right? Because it seems like people in my age don't care about health until you get sick. I say care about health when you're not sick. So if you were ever to get sick, your body would be stronger to deal with said disease. And that's kind of my experience. So as we get prepared, it's 12 o'clock, a 10-minute meditation. Is that all right, Elon?
This them.
10 minutes, cool?
Cool. Perfect.
Okay. So this meditation is going to be in reference to breathing in your heart. Okay? So I really want you guys to start to visualize the words that I'm saying. And this is not going to be hard to do. We're always breathing. So I want you to bring your mind into your breath and breathe into your heart. Breathe into the center of your chest. Hold it. Let it go. And as you're breathing, I'm going to enter different things for you to visualize. And as you visualize these things, understand that these things that you see are yourself. Don't be scared, but understand that there is more to you than meets the eye. As we stated earlier, the human body is protons and neutrons, and everything that we send out is still us too. Everything we receive is still us too. You are extremely powerful. So when you make decisions such as developing a vegan diet, don't make it a stressful decision. Be happy because you're making this decision because it's a good thing. So feel good about it, right? It's not a stress. It's not a stress. It's not a struggle. I'm making wise decisions for myself, and I feel great that I'm doing that. And you'll see, everything that you are, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and begin this meditation. Close your eyes. Try to keep your back as straight as possible. And we're going to do 12 cycles of breaths representing the 12 petals of the Anahata chakra. I really want you to center into your heart, listen to your heart, become one with your heart. Understand that your heart is a consciousness. I also want you to think about your desires, the things that you want, the things that you're hoping to manifest. And also understand that your heart can help you get those things. Begin to feel good for all of the things that are working out in your favor, quite simply because you are breathing and your heart is beating. That's a simple way to keep grounded, to keep focused, and to stay present. Also in gratitude and positive energy, regardless of what is happening on the external. For our first cycle of breaths, we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, and we're going to really breathe in gratitude and release fear. So for the count of 4, we're going to breathe in all of the gratitude in the room. 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold it for 2, 1. And then release all of the fear. The residual fear that you didn't even know that was there. Okay. Breath cycle 11. We're going to breathe in for 4. And we're going to really center into our heart chakra. Now, our heart chakra is about 2 inches above our body, outside of our body. Yes, we have energies outside of our bodies that we can't see, but we can clearly see it when we begin to visualize them in our mind. So let's breathe into our heart chakra for a count of 4. And as you breathe into it, feel the heart chakra spin the more that you breathe into it. For the count of 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 2. It's still spinning. Release. And see your heart chakra still spinning. Now, as you look up your body, you see your 3 other chakras, your throat chakra, your third eye, and your crown chakra. Below, you have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra. And they're all pointing to the heart chakra and the center of your chest. For this cycle, we're going to breathe into our thymus gland, our protection, our healing, our immune system for the count of 4. We're breathing in healing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Gonna hold that healing in for 2 seconds. Let's release all sickness and disease residually for 4 seconds. Release it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's breathe in more healing. And before we breathe in this healing, we're on breath cycle 9 out of 12. You have to accept the healing before you can actually be healed. So let's breathe in healing one more, release all sickness and disease, but we're going to accept. Before you breathe in the healing, say, I accept the healing that is taking place in this moment. In your mind, as you breathe in at the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, hold that righteous divine healing in your heart chakra. Release all sickness, fear, doubt. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breath cycle 8. Now we are still in the space of breathing, our heartbeat, and our defense system. Let's breathe in more healing. I feel like we need more healing to breathe in and release more of our sickness, more of our disease that we hold on unconsciously. So we'll breathe it in, the abundant healing that's presenting itself in the room. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 2. 1. No release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now we'll have you guys opened up. I want to present to you a far out idea. You being an integral part of the universe, having a human experience. And the question that I ask you is, who can teach you about your ancestors? Who can teach you about your soul? Nobody. You begin to teach yourself. So take a deep breath and understand that you will learn from yourself. Just breathe in all of the knowledge that you have already. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 2, 1. Release all ignorance of self. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. We're going to breathe in health. We're going to breathe in health. We're going to release all sickness because health is so necessary, even when we don't realize it. For the count of 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 2, 1. Then release. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on breath cycle 5 of our heart chakra meditation. We're going to go back to our rotating heart chakra, and we're going to breathe into our heart chakra. And I want you to remember this meditation in the future. Whenever things get tough, whenever things get rough, just breathe rich, prosperous, abundant thoughts into your heart chakra at 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Down to our 4 breaths. And we're just going to breathe deeply and listen to our heartbeat for 4 cycles. And I'm just going to count, and I'm going to do less talking. But we're just going to breathe in deeply and center into our heart with no words. Let our heart speak. Let your heart begin to speak to you. Listen to your heart. Okay. Follow your heart. These are not cliches. These are sincere words of wisdom from the ancestors. Let's breathe into our heart. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 2, 1. Let's release for 4, 3, 2, 1. We're continuing to listen to our heart as we breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. And we hold it for 2, 1. And release from 4, 3, 2, 1. So grateful for your heart, the abundance, unconditional love that your heart has for you. Just please tune into it for these last 2 breath cycles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last breath cycle. And we just feel the gratitude for our heart, past, present, and future beats. Just honor the heart for its job and its wisdom and its love that it has for you. Breathe into this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. And release for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly open up your eyes, kind of relax. And any questions? You can kind of slowly.
The truth, Kyrie.
I got 2 of them, and I'm going to even have
You
questions.
gotta heal this community.
Okay.
We about to be massive.
But it's not so much you. It's not so much a question. You kind of made me think about something. We were speaking about Merkabah. That's interesting because that's a word that the ancestors use. What I took a little note right here. Mer, meaning light, Ka, meaning spirit, Ba, meaning body. So when you intertwine it, light energy of the spirit from the body, or light energy of the spirit coming from the body. And then you spoke on, you said about, I think you said something about the child, something about the Thymus Gland. That's what you speak about. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I took me a little note right here. To activate the Thymus Gland, you have to be childlike again. Now, also in the Bible, it speaks of this too. It says, be childlike again. And I'm passing on, I always tell people this. Same thing as you said, when we was kids, we didn't care about religion, politics, none of this stuff. All we wanted to do is go outside and enjoy nature. So when the Bible says, be childlike again, we have to, like I said, put away all of these religions, the politics, the money, all of that, and get back into nature. Because when you get back into nature, you get back into self. Ashe.
Especially in segments of time, like really creating that time to really let things go and really absorb yourself into nature. Even if you do got responsibilities, like I got kids, so I can't be like forget money and that type of stuff. But I do have a release or an outlet, and we all need that.
Most definitely.
I'm sorry. I was saying when you talked about nature and about how this is so beautiful, and about how when you go out to nature and you see that we the only people are not there. Like I literally went to school to be a park ranger. That's what my degree is in, because I want to be in the outdoors, because people like us are not in the outdoors. And then when I go on job interviews, try to work at parks, they look at me like I'm crazy because they're not used to a person like me wanting to be out there. So it is great. And I'll show Miss Elan this my dream. My dream is to have a safe haven. So a safe haven for children to come to camp and learn. I made a website and everything to learn about the outdoors, and have this place, because young people are so connected to technology. And we're kind of special because we lived before technology, and at the cusp of it being created, so we can step away. We have a little bit more willpower, but younger kids, they don't have no willpower. They don't know. All they know is technology. So that's so crazy.
Keep it up. I would definitely keep it up.
Deliberate.
She manifested
I didn't
her
even just
camp, and when she showed me the website, I was literally taken away. It falls right in line with the hotel, and the thoughts and ideas up in Idlewild, all the nature up there, the water. It was just and this was early on when we had met, and I'm just sitting there This girl is something special.
It's just great. Like, you were literally talking about this. It is literally something that I genuinely dream about. It's like black people really do not. Like, I love animals. I could talk all day long about animals. That's what my I have a degree in animal science. Like, that's what I went to college for. But we don't like the outdoors for some reason. And it's and when you said it's deliberate, I didn't even think about it being deliberate. Like, I guess it would. It does make sense how the city is made.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed about coming to Detroit was that Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You from what part?
well, the whole thing, but Cleveland, Canton, Akron, Columbus, them are the places I lived.
And you know, it's very interesting, and this is why this group right here, y'all have, man, I just wish y'all can see OIM in the way I literally see OIM. What you just said, we don't like nature. Yeah, we do.
We
are
nature.
We are
because
nature. Yeah.
The sun is us. The sun is where we get our vitamin D from. So we do like nature. Who don't? When we were younger, we used to say y'all go outside and play. But like he said, it was designed this way for the simple fact is that they know how much nature will connect us back with the universe and open these chakras up. So by design, that was taken away. And the challenge that I would put on the table to y'all now is what you just said. The youth are so connected to technology. All that's intentional. So
How do you fight back?
what do OIM do about that?
Right.
And I'm literally saying this seriously. What is OIM going to do about that? Teach the youth about nature. Get them out. All the stuff. Can you hear me, Amber? You there, Amber? I think she is. But all the stuff that y'all have the ability to do, as well as with Devin, the skills, getting out there with the artillery, the this, that, and the other. What are y'all, and I want y'all to put this as part of OIM, what are y'all going to do about getting these young people out of the technology and back into nature? Now think about this. Y'all may think it's impossible. No, it's not, because they were trained to get into technology.
Be trained to get out.
There you have it. And then the key to that. Now, y'all ask me this question. Y'all answer yourselves this question. When we were up north, what if y'all liked to be, when we went outside at the end and out there with the fire pit, what if y'all preferred to be out in the water, or what if y'all want to be sitting inside on y'all bones, personally?
It was cold that day.
Water. I don't care how cold
it was still
water.
cold, but we still went out there by that water. And when we were together, what y'all didn't even think about the cold, because when Annette couldn't light the thing, y'all all came in like, oh no, we're gonna get this sucker lit. Okay. And Annette was like, come in closer.
Okay. Because we knew we had a purpose. Exactly.
And I say that to say, if y'all do that, man, these kids will put these phones. I'm not saying they're gonna get rid of them. But they'll put them phones aside and tune in to the fun stuff.
Real quick, I want to say real short and brief, because I'm glad that we have this conversation, because you said it too. Another reason, it's not that the kids don't like nature. I noticed this, we could thank religion for this, because we have been taught and trained that the creator is outside of nature. I digress.
What do you mean outside of nature?
They want us to believe to find God, you have to go outside of nature, which is outside of what we see every day. Existence, which is yourself. We are a part of existence. Go outside of yourself, existence, and then you'll find nature. So they say you got to, in order to find God, you die. and then you find God outside of this present. When God is here in this present,
Okay.
because in the Bible it says, "I am omnipresent and omnipotent." Both of those words literally means everywhere, all times, and it's all things, existence, nature. I digress.
I just want to say to you, like, keep going with that idea. Like, there's nothing that can stop you from manifesting your vision besides you.
I know it's it's like I didn't sat in a few of these sessions. You talk about stuff is not a coincidence, and then you talk about the heart chakra. That is so happy wearing green. It's just so many. This is literally my heart. When you talk about, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
my
it's
energy
fine.
get a little crazy when I start talking about the nature and animals, and then my reading had cats in it. I'm sorry. Calm down. But no, like it's just like when you're talking about nature and tapping in and your heartbeat.
Confirmation.
And it really
It's
is
confirmation.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean-
That's the
Simple
word.
confirmation.
Yeah.
I tell you all the time, you're a genius. It's simple confirmation.
It's like
Receive it.
Yeah, because I've manifested things in life before, and from something out of nothing.
Thank you.
But I've just been persistent in what I wanted. So I'm just
Thoughts
sharing that
first.
with you. Be persistent in your goals and have a finishing line or a goal, really an objective that you're really shooting for, and create budgets of how much money you need. No exact.
I did a whole budget and plan for my entire campaign. I'm sorry, it's so weird. Like, I was talking about this.
It's not weird, but the more that you create the budget around your goal, the more that you begin to incorporate people inside your vision, the more that it manifests. And everything that you see around you came from nothing, a person wanting to manifest something. And as I stated before, everybody in this room is no different from the spiritual stuff that we seeing on these pages. I'm trying to tell you and show you that the things that you read and the things that you partake in aren't some greater aspect outside of you. All of these things, the cards, your dreams, your ambitions, the things you wish to manifest are within you. You just bring them out of you. And if you can stay persistent in that from a righteous place, just really doing the things that your spirit is telling you to do, which we talked about when we first came in here, everything comes into an alignment for you. And it's so simple and it's so easy. Just be who you are. But that's for everybody in here. Be the best version of yourself and be persistent in your vision and dreams. That's why we're here. As I stated earlier, it's not about you not manifesting what you want. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to show you how to manifest it. Okay? Seriously.
What's the name of your business?
Beautify these things.
With the tasers and all that?
Mm-hmm.
That was you came up with the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you carried it out, and you have a full-fledged business with products now, right?
I was gonna say another thing. I kept trying to bring it up, but while I was in math course and we had our students, we did have like a little nature thing where we take them outside every week. And one thing they really love, the kids, we had 6th through 9th graders. We don't have their phone. They leave their phones inside, and we get like this old compass looking thing, like I don't know what it is. And we hid stuff all around Wayne State campus. They had to like use that to find stuff, like a scavenger hunt. We did that, and then with the math part, like the whole camp full of like 500 of us, we all had like this little math contest. They had to go around finding like the math clue, go real hide it like in bushes and stuff like that. They had to go around finding like that too.
I like that. I like that. Put that together.
That sounds really nice. Well, we talked about membership. That's how we can gather membership. Especially since you want to help the youth.
You definitely, yeah.
We could make a camp. Like that would be.
I mean,
be
y'all,
camp
man,
counselors.
y'all tripping. Y'all tripping, because that's what I was writing about membership all
Wayne
for
State
the
got a
last
lot
2
of
days.
summer camps for the kids.
Is it?
That's money and there's